Alright, cool. Ready when you are then.
Oh, okay.
You want me to count you in or you want me to count down?
Yeah, sure, call me down.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. A lot of stuff to explain in this game.
I could do commentary.
Yeah, go ahead. It's much easier to play.
Alright, for Twist Road, he's going to be using Black Bolt here. And Black Bolt is really good at MTS and MTS chaining. That's Momentum Turbo Slides, which is where he's going to go sideways and then go real fast. If you look at the speedometer, it shoots up to like 2,000 sometimes. And that's one of the biggest tricks in this game for turns, basically. And by side attacking, which is when like the circles, like the dots are orbiting him, come out. That's when you like shift the vehicle sideways, and you can do that between MTSs to chain them back and forth over like a straightaway, or just exiting an MTS in general. You're going to be using a few different vehicles. Black Bull is really good at MTS and MTS chaining. Later on, we'll get to some other vehicles that are better at other things. Also, the reason he's going for like the side of the boost plate there is because you actually get a little better boost if you hit the very edge of a boost plate. If you hit the middle of it, it's like 10% shorter or something like that. It's small, but it adds up if you do it several times throughout the course. All right, now with Casino Palace, we're going to see Fat Shark here. Fat Shark has the best boost in the game. It's the longest, it's the strongest, it's just real good. He controls a little differently, kind of stiffer. He can't do like MTS chaining very well, but his boost makes up for it. Fat Shark also has the best air strafing of the main vehicles anyway. I guess except for Quick Star. But for a couple levels, it's very useful to have Fat Shark. Even like serial gaps, typically other vehicles are faster, or Gallant is faster, but Fat Shark can be safer since his air strafing makes it not like stupidly difficult. Another benefit to Fat Shark's boost is that the length of vehicle's boost, it also changes how long the boost plate boost will be. It's not just their own manual boosts. And when it's really long like Fat Shark's, it makes it like you can chain one boost to the other, so the whole time you're in like a boosting state. Because if you're not boosting, you'll actually slow down a lot more than you think you would. There's another thing in this game called momentum throttling, which is kind of complicated. Basically, if you're above a certain speed, it's better to
Dropped a bit.
Alright, so we missed like the first 15 seconds of surface slide. Basically, he MTS 2 turns. Alright, and this one really long left turn, MTSing that and not like smashing walls or losing control takes quite a bit of practice. As well, Black Bull is really good at MTSing. It's not exactly easy to do without crashing into stuff. It takes quite a lot of practice. at the end of pretty much every level, the ideal thing to do is to do an MTS against the rail, and you'll go like, if you do it well, you'll go like 4,000, 5,000 kilometers an hour. You can also explode, and you'll go even faster. As you can die, and it's just fine as long as you cross the finish line like above the height of the ground. It'll count as it actually being done. A few levels have some pretty crazy like suicide finishes. Some of them are hard to pull off. Some of them are actually like not hard at all. You'll probably see a couple. Loop Cross has a suicide finish that's absurdly difficult. I don't know if anyone would even try to go for it in an IL just because of how stupidly precise it is. But yeah, Loop Cross it's a very narrow level, and ideally you want to be like MTS chaining pretty much the whole time, so it's really, really difficult to go well. There's also quite a few options to get shift boost in. And a shift boost is basically whenever the vehicle is in the air for like a matter of frames, and then it lands like flush with the track, your speed on one frame will just double. And then depending on like the vehicle's like weight and acceleration and some other stats, you'll like go down to like a lower speed, but usually it ends up that you gain like a couple 100 kilometers an hour, and you can stack that over and over if you have chances for it. On this level, the way to get shift boost is to basically be at the very right speed on a downslope, so that you'll like take off and jump, but not so much that you'll like fly off into the distance, so you'll just land shortly after. And if it's like a very shallow slope, you'll need the MTS to get to the speed where you'll take off, and you can do like an MTS and do a shift boost. Those are like pretty precise. On some levels, they're not too bad. Like on the last turn of Meteor Stream, it's pretty easy to get a MTS and a shift boost there. But on this level, it's kind of finicky. And yeah, the way Loop Cross, the end, it's like a tunnel and a turn. So if the vehicle, if you explode, if you crash into the wall, it'll just explode and stop instantly, which makes a suicide finish really, really inconsistent. Multiplex is pretty much the best track in the game. At least for like casually, a lot of people say that. And it's also a pretty fun track for speedrunning, where it's got like a lot of boost plates, a lot of energy pads, so it's like a really good fat shark track. Quite a few places to get shift boost. Like a couple places to get shift boost.
There's one. One's pretty finicky.
Yeah, there's a...
Let this out off, please.
Pretty much on all the the down slopes, you can MTS into a shift boost with Fat Truck in this level. At first, they might seem like if you're trying to play the game yourself and do the shift boost, they might seem impossible. But if you like spend like an hour practicing it, it's not too bad. Like enough that even like in a marathon setting like this, he's going for it. The alternative isn't that much slower, to just do like a MTS into a side attack dive. On lap 1 anyway. Another thing, a really important thing with multiplex is boost management. So once you start lap 2, you have like a full boost bar if you haven't hit any walls, and you have like a limited number of boosts before it runs out. And where you like choose to use those can make a really big difference in like what kind of time you get. Sometimes there's like more difficult strats where you could like save a boost and instead go for like a shift boost there and boost later. Like you have options, and the ideal way to do it is basically so that generally just for like any tracks, so that you run out of boost the moment you either hit like the next refill or the like end of the stage, I guess. And with multiplex, to try to incorporate that into like using shift boost as well into mine boost, it's kind of tricky. 143 is not a bad time on multiplex.
Yeah,
I
pretty
think
good
that's
boost
like
ups.
if you go to like the IL leaderboard, I think that's like top 15, probably.
Yeah.
Although there, yeah, recently there's a couple of different shift boosts and momentum, like basically boost management strats, have improved the world record by over like 7 seconds in the past like year and a half, or just year. First one to do it was the guy running right now, SuperSANIC. For those who like aren't familiar with like the each individual of the F-Zero community, SuperSANIC's he's like a somewhat newer player relatively, but he's got some in his short time playing the game. He's managed to snag some records. So you choose FFC. There we go. You should follow him because he's really good at GX. Quickstar, the vehicle you're seeing now, it's similar to Black Bull in that it's very good at MTSing, but it's also a lot lighter, so it doesn't get as much speed from shift boost. But since it's very light, you can get a lot more shift boosts. Generally, it's easier to get them because you can MTS like a really high speed pretty much any time you want. It's a lot weirder to control, but on Ordeal and Screwdrive, or no, Ordeal, Drift Highway and Screwdrive, it's like a pretty solid vehicle. That and Twist Road, or it's just like an MTS track. So simply MTS where there's like a lot of like minor shift boosts you can get. For Port Down Aero Dive, you'll get to see the first sort of serious like aerial mechanics. Side attack dives is basically just when you're side attacking while holding like turning and the shoulder button, strafing, and you can get a lot of speed doing that. And if you have enough speed, you can kind of float in the air. Ideally, in this level, for the dive, you'd probably want to, I think he'd do what Iowa did in his run, I'm not sure. He kind of just does one long dive and then like lands flat at the last moment, which is stupidly difficult.
I just do what I think I can pull off.
Gallon Star is like a much heavier version of Quickstar. It's not as good at MTSing, but it's got like better top speed, better boosts. It's just all around like a pretty solid vehicle. Its only weak point is that Fat Truck Boost is better, Quickstar is better than MTS, but it doesn't have any like strong weak points. It's like a go-to vehicle. At the end of the track, before the refiller, there's like the long slope, and you can actually set up a fairly consistent shift boost on that at the end of boost laps and lap 1 if you get a good enough dive, side attack dive. You need to be going at least 1600, I think.
It's more like 1650.
Okay.
Pretty clean.
So the way shift boost and momentum throttling works is that you want to hold A to get the boost, and then like immediately let go so that you're not like slowing yourself down by pushing your vehicle down to the top speed. So you just like tap A the moment you get the boost of speed. The timing on that takes a lot of practice. Mobius Ring is a much more basic looking track where it's like an oval, but the way the track is shaped where it's like has like a little bump in the middle, it lets you do some kind of weird shift boost opportunities. And it also makes when it goes like has a valley in the middle, it's really hard to control the vehicle on that. Oh, and you got all 3 mine boosts at the start. Mine is like similar to a shift boost, where it's just in a very short moment you get a burst of speed from hitting it. If you don't hit it like the mine dead on, you'll get tossed to the side. So if you hit it right in the center, though, it'll shoot you forward. And those 3 mines there let you get a pretty decent lap one time, comparable to boost laps even. Like, it's not that much slower. The better you get at this level, the harder it is to, get the entirety of the energy refiller, because you're going that much faster and you're MTSing all over the place. Landing on the little stretch, it gets more difficult if you're going like 2,000 or over.
That rail side's a bit scary. You can really easily just go over the wall.
Yeah, pretty much. Anytime you're MTSing, if you could like hit a little bump and just shoot forward off of the track, it's kind of a nerve-wracking level. Long pipe is a very different level for like time attack than the previous levels, at least, because it's not about there's like barely any opportunity to do any like MTS or anything like that. It's all about like quick turns and just very small turns and boost management. Oh, another thing is on dives, with the way momentum controlling works, you want to hold A as you're diving down pretty much always, and let go of A as you're moving up in the air. Like if you were to hit a jump plate, you'd want to let go of A like just before you hit it, and then hold A as soon as you start like moving down. Or on this map where there's like short dives, you let go as you start it, and then once you're at like a decent angle diving down, you hold A. And you also want to land flat, so you tilt back a little and let go of A, and then once you land, you could hold A and boost. There's a lot of minor little nuances with the momentum in this game. Which can kind of make it frustrating to like improve on, because you could look at someone else's run and be like, I'm doing what they're doing, but they're like going like 200 kilometers an hour faster in certain parts, because there's very minor details with when you're holding A. They can add up to several seconds save. Those pipes, if you hit them, they do a little bit of damage, which can be kind of scary. In Lightning Half Pipe, there's the same thing where there's pipes at the very end of a track, and depending on how, I guess, reckless or brave you've been playing, it can be pretty scary. Serial Gaps is a very difficult level. No matter like how you approach it, even like casually playing it, like trying to beat it the first time, it'll probably beat the shit out of you. And when you're trying to go really fast, there's a lot of crazy strats with mine boosts and side attack dives, jump plates. It's very easy to die.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah, and depending on how much speed you have exiting that part, it would basically it'll determine how you do the rest of the entire lap. When I think E-Dragon and a couple other people, when we're doing like marathon style runs, we'll use Fat Shark on this level. Gallant Star is the fastest, but Fat Shark is like easier because its air strafing lets it do the side attack dives a little safer. Because with Gallant Star, you can really, it's a lot easier to fly off. And those buildings in the air there, they have collision, well, some of them, so he's had to like dodge them while doing the side attack dives. That was it's always a scary level to watch or play.
Yeah, it's not a great time, but I did first try, so it's alright.
Yeah. Actually, that track is the most recent world record that was broken. Where you've got like a high 45, I think, or a 44.
Yeah, 44.9. Yeah.
Brave is he also has the record on Cylinder Knot here. He's a Japanese player, and typically he didn't want to use any side attacks, but recently he's like, I'll just start doing them, and didn't take him long to get the serial gaps record. There's still probably some time to be saved on that level. It's so hard to like finish a run of serial gaps, let alone a good one. With Cylinder Knot, it's the first cylindrical track, and since you can get a shift boost on any downslope in the game if you're just going the right speed to like fly off and land a couple frames later, you can pretty much get a shift boost anywhere on Cylinder Knot, and that can be like good and bad depending on whether or not you're like able to control it, because it's not hard to get a shift boost, but it's really hard to maintain the speed afterward without like flying off to the side and like essentially gutting your speed down. There's a lot of places to get like MTS into shift boosts that if you're really, really good, they're probably not so inconsistent, but I can only do like 3 of them. Probably only 2. Most notably though, there's a little setup at the really big blob in the track. You can get a not so inconsistent double shift boost where like back to back you get 2 quick shift boosts. They used to be called like super shift boosts before people had like frame data. And you'll go like essentially like 2,000 kilometers an hour-ish if you get that. You can set that up for literally every single lap, including lap 1. You just need to do the previous parts pretty clean. Cylinder Knot also has like one of the, probably the hardest staff coast. I think it's like a low, like a 233, something like that, which is way better than the others. Well, most of them at least. Pretty much every, the first 4 tracks at least are Fat Shark tracks in this level, or this cup. The second one, you're on the inside. It's like inside a tube, similar to Long Pipe, except there's more opportunities for shift boost the way it's shaped. Oh, the staff is 240.9. Never mind. Yeah, I'm thinking what my old PB was. I'm stupid. The tubes section. It has like a corkscrew portion. And if you get just the right speed at just the right angle, you can change shift boost back to back on it. On boost laps, you can set it up fairly consistently. On lap 1, it's a lot trickier. But basically, if you get one, it makes the next one easier. So it's a lot easier to stack. When it's done really well, it looks really cool because you just sort of just shoot forward every like 2 seconds.
So yeah, that turn right there can really screw you over.
Yeah.
Messing
It's
up.
shaped really awkwardly, and if you do the MTS a little too tight or a little too wide, you could either hit the rail and slow down, or just fly off the track and die. Nice. That's what the shift boosts look like. You could also get a shift boost off the as the tube ends and it like goes into like a half pipe to a quarter pipe. You can get a shift boost off the side of the rail there, but it's really hard to do and compare relatively. On some tracks, you can just, if there's not a railing, you can strafe off and on and get a shift boost like that. But when the track is curved, it makes it quite a bit trickier. Which is something that's particularly noteworthy of half pipe, which is after this current track, double branches. Do you still have the record for double branches?
Yeah, somehow. It's not a great run, but...
So, double branches is another really fun Fat Shark level. And it's going to have a lot of opportunities for shift boosts in the center portion of the track. Oh yeah, with vertical curves like you saw there. For some reason, if you MTS on that, it treats it like you're MTSing on a normal turn almost, and you can just sort of hug the wall and just go at MTS speeds forward. It's I don't quite understand it myself, but it works. The left side of the track, when it first forks, doesn't have any energy refillers. It just has extra boost plates. It also has the jump plate, which you can do shift boost and then do a big jump off of, which is what you ideally want to do, but it's pretty easy to miss it when you're trying to go for shift boost as well. Another thing that's kind of tricky to do is an MTS on this first turn, because it's like a 180-degree turn, and the track is not only is it turning but like rotating, twisting. It's kind of tricky to do.
Just gonna play it safe.
This is not the worst track casually. Worst track casually would either be serial gaps or slimline slips.
That's a really scary course. I'm really glad I got that first try.
Yeah, pretty much any course where there's lots of shift boosts, that's also a very high chance of death. Because if you don't pull back onto the track fast enough, you'll just fall down and die. At the start of half pipe, there's a setup for a double shift boost. It's pretty consistent, considering how much precision double shift boosts usually have. Oh wow. Going for shift boost off the edge of the wall here is... I only do it in ILs just because it feels a lot different than doing it on lateral shift or trident. Just half pipes and pipes in general just make shift boosts a lot weirder. Oh, I got the left 2 double. And if you have sharp eyes, you might have seen that the speedometer rose a lot there when he was on the inside of the half pipe on a turn, because it treats that as a downslope and you get a shift boost off it. There's quite a few places to get shift boost in this track. It's already a hard track, but it's harder than it looks as you start playing it. You realize there's quite a few subtleties.
Whoa, that's pretty high jump there.
Another thing with jumps is that if you start the jump at a weird angle, you'll continue diving at that angle. So if you're not set up properly, you can have a twisting dive. So you need to be really careful. Okay, I'm talking on directly to the stream here. I think his internet cut out. Because if you're seeing this with the time still moving. Right now he's doing Ordeal. He's probably doing an MTS into side attack dive. Uh, yeah, I guess I'll just wait for him to come back. Okay, he's back on Discord. He's saying that his current upload is saying it's like 0 kilobits a second, basically uploading. So just give him a minute.
Okay.